My peoples. What's up, my peoples? It's your main man, Dr. Life, in the business of saving lives. Yeah, this is the Holywood Studios launch during Full Sail's Hall of Fame week. Holywood Studios. Um, this is straight up battle. Straight up battle for the right to claim the throne. The right to define who we are, what we represent, our character, for the right, for total ownership to produce our content, our image, the brands that represent us, the mascots, everything. That's what Holywood Studios is about. And apparently there's some confusion. And so here today, or during this week, we going out to the place where we've been going out to since 2006 and tapping into talent and resources. And we use Full Sail as a resource to teach our people how to fish. You know, always hear the saying, give a man a fish, he'll fish for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll fish for a lifetime. But if you make the man, woman, family, ownership of all of the resources, owner of all of the resources around fishing for a lifetime for himself and his family, then you've made him a king. Then you've made him a ruler. So once again, we've never been in the business of teaching people to fish in resources still controlled by other individuals who also control what's said about you in the media, the images of Hollywood. And so when it comes to Hollywood, because they've had since 1820, 1920 to project real images. They talk about diversity. They've had since 1920 to represent us, our interests, our love, our family, our bonds, our strengths. They've had since the 1920s to broadcast a true picture. But since they haven't, well, now we calling a bluff. We're calling a bluff, and we're creating a division. Hollywood does what Hollywood does for its own interests. And Hollywood Studios does what we do because we've been producing the images that represent us. All right? Give you an example. We don't have a problem with anything that anyone chooses to produce and create. And Hollywood happens to be steeped in magic. That's their thing. For us, the dominion that we have is supernatural. The unnatural quest to tap into magic and all of that, they call natural. The world calls it natural. It's natural. And it's no problem. Just that doesn't represent us. Give you an example.
Give it to me, my love. Somewhere in there, I know you're a good man.
The world needs a cure. You can be that cure. A sacrifice for the greater good.
That's called the kiss of death. That's what Hollywood values. And you know, when you want to know what somebody values, follow the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. Tom Cruise is one of the highest paid actors. Anytime they put Tom Cruise in a film, this is Hollywood saying, "Yo, this is our man." He leads one of the largest movements of Hollywood. All right, that whole Scientology movement, right? And these are the god and goddess of Scientology: Osiris and Isis, magic, Book of the Dead, Egyptian pyramid, all of the symbolism, all of the stuff on the back of the dollar bill. This is what they value. Show me the money. Show me the dollar bill. I'll show you Hollywood. Show you Hollywood. Show you the dollar bill. Show you what all of these actors and all of them chase and what Hollywood put value on, and that's what they put on the screen. The problem is, the disconnect is, what they putting on the screen don't represent me and mine. Yet then when they claim to put me and mine on the screen, everything they put on the screen about me and mine ends up negatively affecting me and mine. because they value stuff that we don't value. So you can't allow those who don't have your best interests at heart to define you, to shape your image, to tell your story. You can't allow the individuals who control that dollar, who put all of the symbolism of Hollywood on their dollar bill, to control whether or not your family is invested in or your future is secure, or you can't follow their business models in any way, shape, or form, because how they built Hollywood, how they built DC, how they built all these entities. And I'm not saying anything other than those entities don't represent us. Hello, 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 my brother. South Carolina. What's up, bro? What's going down there, Fulton? My brother. Yeah. So, what you gonna see me do today is in real time go to a pool of individuals who produce on this level. Wow, you working in South Carolina now? We need to holler, bro. See what you got going on down there. So it's people who produce media content on this level. And the only disconnect between my people and the albums that we've created my peoples and the albums that we created, documentary footage, economic empowerment, documentary footage of what we created. Prison ministry over 60 years long with a film studio outside of Birmingham that we control. Stories just ain't being told. Because there's a disconnect in our community. Because everybody in our community has been trained to look to Hollywood to tell our story. If we want our story told, we got to go into Hollywood, or we got to go to RCA, or we got to go to Def Jams. Def Jams ain't telling our story. That's the other side of the coin. Individual after individual in our community keeps getting assassinated, literally assassinated before our eyes. Whenever they try to deliver economic empowerment to us. So whenever they give a threat to the dollar bill that runs the system that Hollywood is built on, these individuals get assassinated. And then the so-called U.S. citizens get right back down to work, following in the system that those who remove these individuals want you to stay stuck and trapped in it. Every last one of these individuals have been assassinated in public, in the public eye, the moment they went off Hollywood script. As long as they was on Hollywood script, as long as they were saying the lines that Hollywood gave them to say, they was fine. The moment that they flipped the script, so Holywood Studios, after what they did to Nipsey Hussle, we've decided no longer will we do it in secret. Every day, we go in public. And we're going to show y'all that the victory lap still continues. We're going to show y'all that we make our own music. They are not hip hop. What they do is rap. Hollywood showed you The gods of Hollywood. Mummified, Walking Dead, Wrapped. That's what the rap industry is. They just the soundtrack to Hollywood's mummified worship of the dead. The Walking Dead, that's what they glorify. The Book of the Dead, that's what they glorify. But so since it doesn't represent us, and then they tried to go to Shaka Zulu to give us a reference that we could connect with. And then they claimed to create the Zulu nation. And they claimed that the roots of hip hop go back to a king in Africa called Shaka Zulu. And I'm going to show you. The reason they picked Shaka was because Shaka was a rapper. The reason they picked Shaka was because Shaka was subjugated and went along with the system just like the rest of these individuals that look like you in the U.S. who get along once they assassinate your peoples, who participate. In this post I said the ITB G code. The in the beginning G code. See, the streets, they claim to have a G code. The gangsters claim to have a G code. But every time you turn around, they got some type of rap. Civil rights movement had rats who stood right on the balcony with Dr. Martin Luther King. Rats. Malcolm X had rats. In the Nation of Islam, rats. Nipsey Hussle had rats. And all throughout his song, Nipsey was telling you, yo, I ain't nothing like these rap niggas. Nothing. But now after he gone, everybody coming out of the woodworks trying to get back to business and then trying to attach themselves to Nipsey. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the principles of this man's life. Highlight the principles found throughout hip-hop, throughout the ages of kingdoms past. Successful, dominating the world kingdoms in the past that belong to us. And the dominion, rulership, reign dance. See, our people always dance when they had a victory lap. Our people always dance when they was victorious, when they was delivered, when they conquered. A rain dance. When you're a ruler, you have a rain dance. Where's the rain dance in civil rights movement? Show me one rain dance in rap. That ain't a dance of deliverance. Them dances that they do, that's dances celebrating the bondage that they in. I'll show you. And I ain't the only one saying this. Alright? I'm not the only one saying this. So back in the day, there was a group called Arrested Development. During the same time where Tribe Called Quest was out, during the same time with hold up. I think I got this. His name is Treach. Arrested Development.
By now you've seen the first episode of Nigga Factory. As promised, episode 2 goes deeper. I'll answer, who are some of the players in the factory, and how high up does the factory go? I knew by broaching this topic there would be controversy.
So understand, Nipsey Hussle said, I ain't nothing like you rap niggas. This is a man totally separate from the Nipsey's joint, attached to this Hollywood fake music industry and them trying to represent us. And he, after watching what's going on, created a series of documentary videos called The Nigga Factory. This is his production. Just letting you know that the facade of what is killing us in our community is the images and the everything that we letting them control. And then so the public and the world, when they see us through the lens of Hollywood. They see us through the lens of these fake rap niggas and this fake rap nigga factory. And when your kids hit the sidewalk, they see them and they don't see a child. When your children hit the sidewalk, they don't see the character that you're developing in them. They see the caricature that these record labels are producing, because they can compete with the caricature, but they cannot compete with the real supernatural character when it's developed and nurtured and launched. And that's what we do. We give them new songs. We give them new fashion. We give them a new walk, a new talk. It's new because they've been labeled and been walking and talking with something that was given to them. But it's not new. It's what we have been doing since the beginning. That's why it's called In the Beginning, ITB movement. This is who we are. And when collectively we all wake up, and this ain't a specific, you're never gonna hear me talk about color and this and that and this and that. Why? Because the powers that be who are controlling this and contributing to this are of every shade and hue, and the targets and the subjects and the aim is the majority of every shade and hue who is not in their inner circle. They could care less. They could care less what your nation, your kindred, your tongue, your people are. If you're not in their inner secret circle crew, based on very specific rituals and everything that you got to do to demonstrate you're part of their club. They don't call them country clubs for nothing. They just letting you know we got separate, exclusive places reserved for people in our membership. And the country club is the weakest representation of that. So now let's check out his version of identifying that there's a difference between true hip hop. And at Holywood Studios, we are saying that since nobody has given the people the true representation, since our people have all accepted Shaka Zulu and the Zulu Nation as the representation of the roots of our Dominion rain dance, songs of deliverance, loudest cry. Nah. So since nobody else has taken the responsibility and stepped up to the challenge and done it, here we are, here to do it.
I only hope that love wins. This is the Nigga Factory.
His name is Speech.
I was asked by a friend to write an op-ed piece for the New York Times. He had caught wind of an Instagram picture that I put up, and it ended up going viral. I was asked by a friend to write an op-ed piece for the New York Times. He had caught wind of an
All right. This picture represents the Nigga Factory. This is the Nigga Factory. Everybody who y'all think, that's Jay-Z, that's Puff, that's T.I., that's Swiss Beats, There's DJ Khaled down there. This is the nigga factory. Rick Ross in here somewhere. This is the nigga factory. This is when Nipsey Hussle saying, I ain't like none of you rap niggas. Now, all of these niggas is coming and trying to get next to him now that he's gotten out of the way. Why was he a threat to the nigga factory? That's what you got to get down. For the same reasons that we're a threat. So in Victory Lap, my man Nipsey Hussle said, white boy in Manhattan, pay my tax, nigga. This is in the same song where he telling you them how he not nothing like none of them. All right. So we know all of the stories of the red foxes in our communities, or we know all of the stories of all of these actors and these individuals who touch money, and next you know they coming and locking them up. Wesley Snipes. So out the gate he like, yo, white boy in Manhattan, pay my tax, nigga. I own the rights to all my raps, nigga. He talking directly to all of these rap niggas. Cause none of them, they all owned by the system. They all controlled by the puppeteers, the Hollywood puppet masters. They all controlled by every last one of the record labels. I own trust accounts, deposit racks, nigga. I own trust accounts. What is a trust? A trust fund. What do we do with every single mentee in our program? From the cradle to the time they 21 and when we coronate them and turn them loose. Trust fund. An economic empowerment trust fund account that on the maturation age of 21 when we coronate them turns into an endowment. What is an endowment? Consistently paid annually, however much salary is determined by the trustees and the managers of the fund, along with the benefactor and recipient of the funds. We work out an amount, okay, how much, what, yo, 150,000, 200,000. You only 21, what you need? All right, annually, this is much is going to come out and be endowed to you. And the rest of it is going to continue to be managed, invested, flipped. That's how you flip the slums. And how do you take young people all through life and give them a trust fund and give them, listen, how do they teach these jet fighter pilots how to fly planes? Mach 5, Mach 6. They put them in simulators. They never just drop the pilot in the plane and say, all right, go fly. Nah. Years and years and years of training. They're in simulators that simulate the flying of the vehicle. Then once they've mastered the simulation, all right, that's what these people do. They create trust funds for their young people. The moment they come out the womb, they got a trust fund. But they got a trustee that manages the fund on behalf of the child. They direct the fund towards the child and they say the child is the benefactor at such and such age. But this trustee will be hired and paid to manage and then teach the child while the child grows. Listen, this is how much is in the fund. This is what we're investing in. This is da-da-da-da-da. Here, you simulate and practice over here. We're not in a real environment, but in these simulator, these economic, financial simulators that are everywhere. And then the young person is learning how to manage their money and their finances. This don't happen out there. But when you got somebody from our community who gonna put in a rhyme at the height of his career, open trust accounts, deposit racks, nigga. $1 million life insurance on my flesh, nigga. Beat that case. That was that, nigga. Told the world, now I'm back, nigga. I beat the case. First of all, they all want us all locked up. School to prison pipeline, dropout factory. I beat the case. 100 million life insurance. He got life insurance. He got trust funds. We ain't getting with the legal system. Own the rights to all my raps. He's an owner. Signed a record deal. Now I'm cracked. They folded, so I left. Now he teaching people to bypass us, bypass Hollywood, bypass the entity that all of these cats serve to the fullest.
By now you've seen the first episode.
These cats serve the industry to the fullest, yo.
In an artist, I know that.
We the No Limit of the West. Percy Miller at his best. No Limit of the West. Percy Miller, what? Total control of launching No Limit Records. Master P. Straight out the trunk, then went to the record label like, listen, I done sold this many units. Yo, y'all gotta respect it or we're gonna keep pushing out the trunk. And because they wanted to make some money, instead of not touch none of the money, they gave him the deal. And then Nipsey came back and did the same exact thing. And then told the world, yo, we the Percy Miller of the West. This all facts. This ain't no mother threat. Now, Dr. Martin Luther King told us, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So by Nipsey living this life, basically he telling the community, yo, I'm erasing the injustice and I'm letting you know we could go from the bottom to the top. These clowns out here, these other cats in the nigga factory, they talk about Drake. I went from the bottom to the top. Now we here. Who here? Our communities ain't here. Who is the who that they talking about? All of them in the picture. Jay, Puff, Khaled, Rick Ross, 2 Chainz. Who is now we here? So now you got somebody who is in the trenches. And this is what our movement is about. We coming and we separating ourselves. We like, listen, stop contributing and supporting the Hollywood rap nigga factory, false, fake facade image, culture that's not your culture, image, culture, fashion, their arranged marriages are arranged to fail on purpose. They created those tabloid magazines just to broadcast how unsuccessful the Hollywood arranged marriage is so that you would lose faith and trust and belief in the marriage covenant. Everything that they do has an agenda aimed at you, and as long as you don't separate yourself, so all our movement is, and we go into a group of young people who some of them may be looking to get into Hollywood. Some of them got skills and they want a job anywhere. And we're going to go up here today and we're going to say, listen, we got the choirs that's the best in the world. We got this is the documentary that I'm working on right now. It's the prequel to Bastards of the Party. We going back to the beginning. We're going to tell Bastards of the Party is they've used gangsters and they've labeled us, the gang bangers, as the bastards of the party, right? So one of my partners, right-hand men, went all throughout South Central and shot a documentary called Bastards of the Party, right? And he asking the gangbangers, yo, where did it come from? Where did it come from? And it's just like those who believe they in the hip-hop industry. They're like, I don't know where it started. I don't know. All I know is, yo, we used to hear him, da-da-da-da-da-da. Nobody don't know where it come from. So now we producing the prequel to Bastards of the Party. All right, this Bastards of the Party.
I'm from Athens Park, Bloods. Everybody calls me Bone. I've been there for pretty much my whole banging career. I also claim the Jungle Stone, Blackstones. I'm real tight with the Blackstones, so I always have like a double affiliation with two different neighborhoods, both being Bloods. Athens Park and the Jungle are together. They're like our brother set. You know what I mean? So I've always bounced between both these neighborhoods, you know what I mean? And yeah, pretty much that's who I am on the streets. Bone from Athens Park, or some people say Bone from the Jungle. You know, how old are you? I'm 34. 34, but I've been doing this since 12 years old, 13 years old. I've been doing this day in, day out, year in, year out. It's been a big part of my life. Too much of my life, basically. And like I said, I don't know, maybe God has like a...
Yo, any of y'all who know my cousin Megadome Mathel,
to be able to talk about it.
This man look like my cousin
We had
Mathel.
clothes and everything we wanted. I didn't come from like a poor family, not a rich family, but if I asked for something, I could get it.
So it wasn't poverty that drove you into?
Oh, hell no. It was a choice I made. Wasted a lot of time, man. Wasted too much time. Wasted about half my life. If I could have used some of that energy in another direction, then tell them what I could have did, I think. Being one of the guys who was hands-on, who helped destroy most of my community, who participated in self-genocide, I want to be able to put some clarity on why some of these things have happened. I'm trying to get to the core of how we got to where we're at now. You know what I'm saying? When you heard banging got started, what year? Was it the 60s, 50s, 70s, 80s that you heard about?
I heard about the 60s.
I remember back in them days, I used to just hear about it as a youngster though. Before y'all, you know what I'm saying? I always wondered how the shit used to be, you know what I'm saying? But I can't even, you know what I'm saying, tell how the shit used to be. I wasn't around, you know what I'm saying?
First incident I heard of was like in the 70s.
Ours started in a certain way, then we got our OG homies that's older than us, they started in a different way.
I really don't know how it started.
You ever wonder about that though?
I always wonder about that. It wasn't nothing else to do. I mean, dedicated to life.
Now I think if I could get like some of the truth, you know what I'm saying, the homies that's coming up behind us, I can show maybe the origin we came out of before us. That's why I question my mind. I ask the homies. They don't even question why are they what they are. Really, in most cases, they just come up, and now it's like a fad. And then, like I said, until one of them are injured, and then they become serious. What's the future for the young homies coming behind us? The pressure on the kid can be tremendous in the neighborhood to do something. Because once he says this is who he is, and I'm banging for Athens, or I'm banging for the Jungle, or I'm banging for whatever set, then people around him like, okay, what you gonna do? Do something. Let me see it. You ain't scared to die? No. Why not?
Die sooner or later?
Anyway, huh?
So the reason that we getting involved like we getting involved is because we are not extraordinary. What I do is not extraordinary. It's the norm. Just nobody will tell the world that. You heard this man say, listen, man, I wasted so much time. And because I wasted so much time, and because I participated half of my life away in self-genocide, I felt that it was my responsibility to do something about it. So I'm coming back and I'm producing a production to shine a light like, yo, half of us don't even know why it is we out here doing what we doing. But what's even greater is because we have individuals. We do what we do because we have individuals who are on the ground, like the ground level in the midst of the concrete jungle daily, loved ones inside of so-called spiritual folds and outside. That's home base. That's the highways and the byways that's going to win this fight. Home base, they're going to hit the grand slam. All right? Then first base is individuals like my pops who saw education as an opportunity to get out the concrete jungle. So he's made a transition. My moms who took an opportunity that doesn't come along and hasn't come along to many of our people because the concrete jungle challenges is so suffocating. So we got people on first base. I call my first base people like my Palm Forge Academy people. It's the finishing school in the great controversy where we get trained. You're going into training to fight in this battle, conflict, cosmic conflict. Then if you keep matriculating and you go off into becoming a professional, like high school, you could just graduate high school and you could come back home. But if people keep matriculating, that's second base. I'll reference my people at Oakwood, reference my people at the HSBCUs, that's second base. But the system is designed. Nowhere in this matriculation are any of y'all learning the fundamentals, the financial cornerstones of prosperity. Nowhere. They don't teach it in high school, none of the high schools. They don't teach them in college, none of the colleges, not even the Ivy League colleges. There's a movie, there's a series on Netflix, Around the Crown. And if y'all would just pay attention to Great Britain, y'all would know exactly why people are still enslaved to this day. Queen Elizabeth, who they call the Queen still to this day, is sitting down as a little girl. And all of the other people, she came through this college called Eton College. It's one of the most, it's like the Harvard or Yale of Great Britain. So only the little boys went to Eton too. It's a little boys' school. Ain't no girls around. So she walks through the courtyard of Eton, and all of the little boys are going into their class. And then she gets up to the professor. So apparently, there's a special professor for the royals. So she sits down, and he's teaching her how she's supposed to interact, how the crown and the parliament is supposed to interact. He's teaching her the subtleties of when the crown should interact and when the crown should defer to parliament and when parliament should step up and interact on behalf of the Commonwealth. Because the crown represents a specific group and the parliament represents a totally separate group. Just like the Senate. Caesar represented God on earth. Two totally different political systems in one, and the people had no clue. They thought that the Senate was representing them in Roman. The Senate was just to make the people believe that they had a representative. But every decision came through Caesar because Caesar declared that he was God on earth. The English have the same system. And the United States of America was given the same system, except in 1871, King George III, they signed a document saying that the United States will never have a monarch. Why? Because they're always acknowledging the monarch in England. And they have a document called the Magna Carta, which says, listen, all of these laws that we write it for the nobles. If you're not a noble, if you are a peasant, laws and what we talking about don't apply to you. We're going to broker a deal with the nobles because the nobles rose up against the king and was like, listen, man, you hoarding all of the resources, you hoarding all whatever, and we the ones who keep the people in line. If we turn these spears on you, what you going to do? We control the army. We control everything. So the king sat down and they wrote a document which is Britain's constitution. Between the king and the nobles. Ain't had nothing to do with the peasants. Ain't had nothing to do with on the land. And it said, yo, if you are a peasant, yo, you are property. You are asset to the king or the noble. And I'm just letting you know that the man was grading papers of his pupils, of the students down in Eton College. And Queen Elizabeth said, what you got there? He said, oh, this is the math. And it was regular. Let's say it was algebra 2. Let's say it was calculus. It was some type of math calculations. And she was like, what is this? She was like, why I don't learn this? He's like, that's not for you. That's for them who don't know what you know, and you ain't never going to experience what you experience. You ain't going to go. So, yo, they revealed right then and there, yo, the educational system that they gave to the masses was to have the masses spinning their wheels, trying to solve all of this, solve all of this, and the true inner workings of how to conquer and dominate. The financial principles of kingdom building is always withheld from the common people on any and every level in the educational system. Third base is our financial people, our businessmen and women from these neighborhoods who started off on home base and have hit triples. No matter what the hurdles that they tried to withhold from them on first base and second base, these individuals make top 3% income from our communities. And they serve like we serve. They give back like we give back. They reinvest like we reinvest. And so all Holywood Studios is we've decided we're going to connect all of these dots. And we're going to help these people on the bottom rung at home base come up to plate with the stories, with the images, with the blueprints of our people from third base, with what we can extract from our colleges and our high schools to give to these people to say, listen, let's throw away the trash and let's recycle the waste that they're getting us to leave behind in our communities. There's so much wealth and talent in the individuals in our communities that the world is exploiting. And all we're doing is using the same mediums, the same avenues, using the same equipment, using the same everything just to tell the true story of how we got here and reveal supernatural instead of magical. And if you want to see individuals be taken through a pipeline, because what y'all got to understand is to make sure that they always have a 1%, they artificially groom the next generation to make sure that their next generation continues controlling all of the assets. And so we are the only organization that I know of that has a system in place to take children from when they're born and attach them to trust funds. Like my man said, open trust funds, deposit racks. That's what this is for. I'm going to show y'all one last thing. Just so you know, like, I don't know if everybody know, like,
I love the guy that gives away sneakers coming out and some. Look at you, Snazzy.
What's up?
I love the guy that gives away sneakers coming out and some boots. Yeah, love it. So here's the deal, guys. I met Andre very recently. You know, as everybody's doing these days, they're going through their closets, going through their different items, and they're, you know, seeing what sparks some joy, right? And I have a lot of sneakers. I've acquired a lot of sneakers in my day over the past few years, and I was like, I don't need all these. Someone else needs some of these. Someone's got things that have never been worn or barely worn. And so I started, you know, getting on the old, you know, internet machine there, and I come across this gentleman right here and his organization. It's From the Soul, S-O-L-E. And I gave him 9 garbage bags full of sneakers, about 100 pairs.
Definitely.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's like, yeah. I don't say it for, you know, for that purpose, but I always say to let you know, you take it away here and tell people what you do with those sneakers, please.
So basically, it's From the Soul's organization. One day I was playing basketball in New York City. I saw a guy walking through a gate limping. And when the gate opened, the guy had no shoes and socks on. I wear size 12. I ran up to the guy and said, can I give you a good pair of sneakers? He said, leave me alone. I'm not interested. I said, please, please. He said, I don't have any money. I said, I don't want your money. I just want to know, would you try these sneakers that I have on? I said, what size shoe you wear? If he told me his direct size, I would have left him alone. But he said the last time he remembered, he wears size 10. I'm like, what do you mean the last time you remember? Yeah. He said, I just haven't had a good pair of shoes in a long time. I wear size 12, which would be 2 sizes bigger than him. Yeah. I begged him, and he put his foot in the sneaker, and when I touched the tip of the shoe, his toe was right there. Yeah. So that means his feet were swollen 2 sizes bigger than it usually would be. Yeah. So what I started doing, walking around New York City with a suitcase of 30 sneakers from men's 7, which is a woman's 9, all the way to 14, 15s, and started giving sneakers away. Yeah. Started asking my friends and family for their sneakers, and I started sending you videos and pictures of who I gave your sneakers to. Yeah. It would move me and make you feel like you've helped the less fortunate. Absolutely. And that's what I've been doing now for 6 years.
I mean, sneakers, yeah, absolutely. How, at this point, so that's 2012, so here we are, 2019. My last, how many sneakers you giving away?
So from June 18, 2012 till today, It's From the Soul has given more than 25,000 sneakers. Yep. And 9, thank you. In 9 different countries and 23 states around America, we have provided for people who need and not people who want.
That's right, that's right. It's amazing. Now I've got...
So, this one of my brothers. This one of my brothers who, just like this is what we do. This is what we do. We see needs that need to be met, and we meet them. We not out here. This is not your NBC Rockefeller Center. Bring the NBA out and do Habitat for Humanity. bring the NBA out and hand out some turkeys. This ain't that kind of charity. From billion-dollar industries that control billions and trillions of dollars, for y'all to bring multi-millionaires out here collectively and hand out turkeys, it's a slap in the face. It's an absolute slap. It's an absolute joke. It's actually an industry called Poverty Inc., where they hide and secure their wealth from the poor by putting on the facade that they are blessing the poor. It's called Poverty Inc. That's how they avoid paying taxes. In a word, the Creator rebuked the Pharisees. He said, "You've given out of your abundance." I'm not impressed. And I'm just challenging y'all, and I'm just telling y'all, we have an army of Andre McDonald's. But when they turn cameras on and when they turn pictures on, all you see is the buffoonery of these whack rap Hollywood Negroes. And it has been an agenda for so long to project these images that our people have been programmed to just accept them. We have an army of individuals who can never be represented by any of these people. The music, the fashion, can't listen. And the crazy thing is, the abundant life, the prosperity that I see flowing in the lives of these individuals is what all of our people are missing. And the reason that they are not tapping in is because they're seeing the lie more than they're seeing the reality, the supernatural reality, that this is how we really live. That this is what we really do on a day-to-day basis. This is what it means to live the American dream. I, John, saw. That's the American dream. To the angel of the church of Philadelphia, I, John, saw. I know those who are of the synagogue of Satan. I will make them come down and bow down at thy feet to know that I have loved thee, Philadelphia. The American dream. The American dream team. And even with all of the ills, all of the setbacks, the reason we do what we do is because our community still controls $1.3 trillion. $1.3 trillion annually flows through the hands of our community. It's more than every other country besides 10 on the earth. In the United States of America, those who have been divided among all of these groups, Negro, Black, African American, Caribbean, listen, man. I'm a Jamaican. I'm a Haitian. Y'all serious. And when you divide your community up, now what's flowing through your hands don't even count. And that's why they divide you up. So all we've done is we've gone and we put our Puerto Rican people back in the fold. Our Mexican people back in the fold. Our Dominican people, our Haitian people, our Guyanese people, our Panamanian people, our Bayesian from Barbados, our Bahamian people. No division here. We reunified, and now we showing our people how to take that 1.3 trillion that's flowing through, that they're extracting what they're extracting in all of their companies, and then they having us waste the rest of it, so that we'll always be in bondage. And all we doing is we coming and we're gonna show y'all how y'all could unify with us in this pipeline and launch family members, no matter what base they on in this cycle. Launch them. All right, peace.